fuck. Which is why they cut to them baking the cake. Mm-hmm. And it cuts to the parents baking a cake, and it's like, oh, look at this, and happy music, and we're baking a cake, and then we cut back, and bad shit's happening. So
yeah, we cut back, and they are raping Phyllis.
Well, not yet. They're about to. Krug is undressing Phyllis and telling her, like, don't fucking say a word, and
they've pulled a knife at this point.
pulled a knife, and it's like showing the shit. And this is where Mary is by herself, because I guess Junior did a good job, so he got his fucking heroin fix. So he's strung out. And they're, all three of them are on Phyllis.
Yeah.
Mary could easily run out the door.
But she would be leaving her friend. And
to get a cop.
Well, yeah, but
it's either we both possibly get killed, or one of us survives.
Well, she wasn't thinking
possibly
like that.
Saves both of them.
I know, but she wasn't thinking like that.
So
now again, all of this is intercut with them making a fucking cake.
Only cuts once.
I know, but still.
But they do it to ease the tension. It's a bad move, I agree, but that is what they did. I'm not agreeing with it.
You're not easing tension, you're jarring people.
I know that. And that's, again, proof that they didn't know what they were doing.
And then they go on a road trip with the fucking happy Sadie.
So it's this is where the music gets all happy and shit like that. And, I mean, in all fairness...
It's like a family road trip song about psychopathic killers.
Which is why the song is utterly fantastic.
Now, why...
It doesn't fit the movie.
How Rob Zombie has remade this film.
Oh my god. Well, first of all, he did steal that thing from the beginning. That is the intro to Living Dead Girl he stole from the fucking trailer to this movie.
Right.
But it just occurred to me, and there's no reason to put this on the fucking podcast, but I'm gonna. He just asked recently, what song should him and Marilyn Manson cover for the next fucking tour?
Well,
I'm telling you right fucking now. I'm literally gonna create a fucking Twitter account just to tweet that at him. But anyway, moving on.
Because he's kind of made these films.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's clearly seen it because he stole the fucking thing from the trailer.
Plus the whole family gang thing.
Yeah.
Like, if anyone's going to remake this movie that isn't Wes Craven or anybody else, it's Rob Zombie.
Yeah, although he's not remaking.
Because,
I think
Sherry Moon Zombie can be Sadie, and, he's got his crew of people that could be these people.
He really does.
Just saying.
I'd watch a sequel, remake, with him doing it.
Yeah.
Why not?
It's been 10 years since the previous remake.
Yeah,
it's not
let's do it. 10th anniversary. Rob Zombie is the last house on the left.
So the calling was called the cops because, hey, Mary hasn't come home. Mm-hmm. The night has passed, and she's not home.
Well, at first he's like, I don't know yet. He hasn't called the cops yet because...
No, the sheriff is in in the living room. And the sheriff is telling him, well, she's probably going to walk in the door any minute now.
Yeah, well, but
I'm glad you called me,
At first, they don't call him because John says, like, ease up, she's an adult, she wants to fucking do this. Can I point out, there was another scene I forgot to mention that I still never understood to this day, and they have no fucking explanation. Mm. Back when they were in the fucking in the woods drinking the booze, she's like, I'm 17 years old and I feel like an adult for the first time. She says a name of some guy. It's like Robbie something or other, Johnson, I think. Mm-hmm. Never explains who the fuck that is.
Maybe
and that's always bugged me. I guess,
school.
But they never explain that, and it always comes out of nowhere. She's just like, Robbie Johnson. I'm like, the fuck? Who does that mean? Like, she's so excited about this guy. We don't know who it is. It just comes out of nowhere. It's so weird. Anyway, moving on. Sorry.
So the sheriff is in the living room.
Eating cake.
Eating
the cake because that's what you do.
And then he calls in his Deputy Harry. Mm. I don't think the sheriff gets a name, does he?
No, he's just sheriff.
Yeah. Mm. Deputy Harry comes in. And they're just like, okay, well, we'll just wait here and we'll see. So Mary gets home.
Yeah,
she doesn't.
What
she knows that they don't know.
The car breaks down. This is a weird scene for me.
This is a coincidence and a half.
Yeah,
Jesus.
I mean, but at the same time, it doesn't seem like it because I think there's only one road out of town, and that's where they.
No, but of all the places this car breaks down, it's literally at the front of their driveway.
I agree. But the weird thing about this scene, it always makes me laugh, where the car breaks down, right? Mm-hmm. And Krug sends Junior in to fucking fix it, right? Junior doesn't know shit. So he pulls out the dipstick and just goes, I think I found out the problem. This thing's covered in oil. And Krug fucking smacks him. And this is more of the Sadie being like the matronly, was just like, leave him alone, he's just a kid. And Krug goes, yeah, but when I was a kid, I could take apart and put together engines. And I'm thinking, so why don't you fix the fucking engine, you asshole?
Then go. Do it.
Do it, bitch. But of course they never do. So they just randomly take the girls out of the trunk and walk into the woods. Because...
where else are you going to
go? And then, this is when the cops show up. They're driving by, and then they see the fucking car that is abandoned, and they go...
well, that's weird.
Like, shouldn't we look into this? No, it's not going to find Mary. You sure? It's an abandoned car near her house. I think you might want to take a look into it, police officers. But no, they don't.
The two most useless police officers.
My guess is, did you not hear the fucking thing about the people fucking escaping from prison? They might show up. I mean, it's not guaranteed, but it could happen. You might want to take a look, and they find out about it later, but, I mean, seriously.
So this is where the real unpleasant
here's where shit gets real.
Begin.
Yeah.
First things first.
Mm-hmm.
For funsies,
yeah,
they make Phyllis pee herself.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're thinking of things they can make these girls do, and I think it's Krug decides...
well, the first thing it is just Krug says, like, hit each other.
Yeah.
And... oh, no, sorry.
No, that's
peeing your pants is first. So he makes Phyllis piss herself, and it's legend as far as whether she actually did or didn't pee herself in this shot. She says she did. Wes says she didn't. I don't know.
I don't want to look too deep into that one.
It looks like she does. How's that?
Right.
And then they're like, oh, that's amazing. And then they're like, take your pants off. And then that's when they pull out Mary and they say, hit each other. And they're fucking smacking each other harder. Fucking punch her with full force and everything. And Junior has enough of this shit, can't look at it, and just says, why don't you just have it make it with each other? So they do. And... they're stripping each other, and Phyllis says something that is legit, because at this point Sandra Peabody is freaking out and literally says to her, like, don't pay attention to anyone else, it's just you and me here. That is her legitimately trying to calm the actress down. Yeah.
So that's unfortunate.
And it's uncomfortable, and it's just as fucked up as you think it is. It's not cool. The rest of this movie is uncomfortable, is what I'm saying. Is like, it never eases up on the uncomfort, and you are
except for one random scene that's super jarring.
Yeah. But this is really, so you're uncomfortable as fuck now, and then they kind of get away from that. And
well, they cut back to the cops at the police station.
Yeah, the cops are
who hear over the radio.
Who are too busy to investigate the car, but are cool with playing checkers.
Yep.
Cops.
And then they hear over the radio that Krug and company were driving that exact car, of which they go, oh, Jesus, that's the car! And then they run to the fucking, their car.
I do enjoy his speech where he's just like, how long does it take to get there? 45 minutes. Make it 15. That's not possible. I'm sorry. No, there's no speed you can go that'll work.
So
they set off to go, and then we cut back, and...
Phyllis runs off.
Well, what's happened is Krug's fucked off because I guess he has to take a leak, and then Phyllis asks, like, can I put my gear on until he comes back, and Fred is like, Weasel's like, yeah, sure. And then she leans over to Mary and says, I'm gonna make a run for it, you get out of here. So she kicks Weasel and fucking takes off, and then we get a very long, very, very protracted fucking chase scene. That could have been cut down so easily and wasn't.
Yeah. It goes for about 10 minutes.
It goes on for a very long time. Thankfully, they do cut it with Mary trying to convince Junior,
who she has dubbed
Willow, because he's very pretty and he flaps in the wind, which I'm like, that's a weird thing to say, but okay. And then she gives him the peace necklace.
And here's the MacGuffin for you.
Exactly. And then, and then we cut back to Phyllis running, and then she, like, there's a scene where she's across a little bank of water, and then she's, like, gives him the finger and says, screw creep, and they keep running, and she's hiding from them and running and running and running, and then she sees She's in a little tiny graveyard and she sees the highway. So she walks very slowly, which you can clearly go, well, you're in a horror movie because you're walking slowly to the fucking salvation. Krug's knife pops up in the very first, his first jump scare that Wes Craven ever did, because he didn't know what a jump scare was. And this whole thing happened accidentally. That jump scare happened completely accidentally. He was like, I was so amazed when I was in a theater and people jumped at the same time. He was like, I didn't know I could do that. No idea what a jump scare was. That, I think, is amazing.
There you go.
And then, so he basically stabs her in the back.
Mm-hmm. Several times.
No, just once.
Just once?
Yeah,
okay.
I'll get to that. And then she starts crawling away.
To the highway.
And this is where Weasel kicks her, which is really bugs me. I don't know why that is one of the things that just makes me uncomfortable. And then they have the conversation of just like, how'd she get away and everything like that. And then she crawls and ends up by a tree and just lying there because she can't go anywhere. And then they go to her and I think they start like, are you fucking sorry you ran away or whatever. She spits blood in their face. They pick her up and Weasel stabs her about 15 times.
Yep.
And they start cutting into her stomach. This is all kind of under the camera. But then this is where we get the quick, like, blink and you miss it shot of Sadie pulling out her intestines, which were just condoms filled with fake blood and sand.
Right.
But looks very, very effective. If in the uncut footage, she's playing with them for a very long time.
Right.
I think she does take a bite out of them as well.
So they're just like, you know what? Just a little quick pull, and we're
out
because
here.
No one needs to see it.
Well, anyway. I don't know if they cut that. I don't know if they cut that or that was just cut in general. But then
I'm sure the MPAA was like, "Can you
maybe?" But then apparently there used to be a scene where they were cutting off her arm.
Right.
But it cuts back to Mary cannot convince him to go. So Junior just basically he says a line that I think is really sweet, where he's just like, "Mary, if you were me, what would you do?" Legitimately asking that question, and she kind of stops and goes, "Yeah, I get it. Like, just nothing she can do." And then they come back, and she's just like, "Did Phyllis get away?" We missed the part where the reason why they were able to get Phyllis to do all the things in the beginning, like piss her pants and everything. Mm-hmm. They said, and I think this is very, very effective. Like if she doesn't do what you say, we're going to cut her friend.
Right.
And when she refuses to do it, she actually does cut. They actually do cut Mary. I think that's very effective. Anyway, sorry.
So before they get to that part, the cops, to stop them from getting to the house in 15 minutes, their car breaks down. And for the rest of the film, are walking to the Collingwood's house. Because it's like either we're getting in a car or we're walking, and nobody's picking us up, so we're walking.
Well, there's a couple...
Well, there's a...
You know what, let's just get them out of the way and just cut... Because, again, this is where it should have... So, basically, at one point in time, they flag down a car that's driving by, and it's full of a bunch of kids, and they stop, and then they, as soon as the cops get close, they give them the finger and go, "Ha, run away." One of those guys being a production assistant named Steve Miner, who went on to do a lot in the Friday the 13th series. In fact, it was this house that they chop up in the end of this movie with the chainsaw. That was Steve Miner's house. I'm sure he was very happy about that. And then they run into Ada Washington. We're just going to get the cop ones out of the way so we can stop fucking cutting back to them. So Ada Washington, just sassy black lady with one tooth.
Driving a chicken truck.
Yep. She's got a shit ton of chickens, and then she's like, "Ada, we need to get your vehicle." And she goes, "Well, you can climb on top and I'll drive you." And they're like, "Okay." And then they sit on top, and the car won't go, and they fall down. Wah, wah. And then they're just like, she's just like, "Look, I got a shit ton of chickens on here. I couldn't even put one more chicken or my car wouldn't start." And he's like, "So you mean that this truck won't move if we're not on it? Or if we're on it?" "Yeah." "Well, you got to move chickens." She goes, "No." And somehow that's okay. Because cops have no authority in this world.
Well, before this scene, we get to the main scene of the film, I think.
One of them. But no, I was just trying to get the cops to find
a
way so we can stop cutting back to them.
Right.
But anyway, so here's where they do the thing with Phyllis where she's like, "Did Phyllis get away?" And then they show her arm and drop it down. To which point Mary screams. And then Krug strips Mary down and rapes her very disgustingly. The less said about that, the better. Mm-hmm. And then this is where it becomes very powerful. There's two things that happen that I really, really love. Well, first of all, she goes and pukes because that's what you do, and then she